My husband cheated and is pushing me for a divorce. Our son didn't hesitate to choose to be with him. He said, "You're just a stay-at-home mom, broke as hell. I don't want to live a hard life with you. Do you even know how expensive the sneakers I want are? Don't ruin this for me." I squeezed the lottery ticket in my hand. What he doesn't know is that I won $2 billion. Fine, let him live that so-called good life with his dad. I'm taking my darling daughter and we're going to enjoy life. The two things I regret most in my life are marrying my current husband, Mike, and having my son, Leo. My husband recently got together with another woman and is forcing me to divorce him. Divorcing him isn't the issue. It's the thought of leaving my kids that breaks my heart. I just got a lawyer to fight for custody when my son jumps in, "Mom, you're just a stay-at-home mom, broke as hell. I don't want to live a hard life with you. I want those expensive sneakers. Don't ruin my life." My daughter, Helen, was furious. "Leo, how can you talk to mom like that? She's been so good to you." Leo rolled his eyes and said, "It's all dad's money she's spending. Without his support, how will she treat us well? Helen, if you want to live a hard life with her, go ahead. I'm not doing it." I was shocked by Leo's harshness. I've dedicated so much to that kid. He was a preemie, always sickly. I quit a high-paying job to care for him for 15 years. He didn't like school food, so I woke up at 5 to make him breakfast. I'd buy the freshest ingredients to cook lunch for him. And all I get is, "You're just a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to live a hard life with you." Honestly, my blood ran cold hearing that. He saw me silent and figured I wouldn't agree. He got anxious. "Mom, don't be selfish. If you care about me, you'll let me go." I laughed bitterly. "Fine, go." He doesn't know, just days ago, I bought a lottery ticket through my mom and hit a $2 billion jackpot. Winning during the marriage means Mike gets half after divorce. So, I'm planning to claim it under my mom's name quietly. When I win custody and the divorce finalizes, I'll take my kids and we'll live the good life. For now, that ungrateful brat isn't worth it. My mother-in-law Susan was thrilled I made a decision. She laughed, "Daughters are just losses. Take Helen and get the hell out of here." I actually looked at Leo lounging on the couch watching TV. His grandma ran her mouth about his mom and sister, and he didn't react at all. I was done with him. I laughed coldly. "I'm not even divorced yet. I'm calling Mike now, asking him to take time off and finalize the divorce. Move out today, Anna can move in tomorrow." Anna is the woman Mike's been seeing. My son perked up when he heard Anna's name. "Grandma, is Aunt Anna finally moving in?" Susan patted his head. "Soon she'll be your mom." "Happy?" He nodded eagerly. "Yeah, happy." Helen was stunned by her brother's attitude. "Leo, are you even human? Mom's cared for you all these years, and now you want to call the woman who ruined their marriage your mom? Are you a beast?" Leo just shrugged. "Not my problem. Anna's amazing, she's a PhD and a university professor." He gave me a condescending look, like, "Yet my mom's just a housewife, wrapped up in daily chores, knows nothing. Every time classmates ask what my mom does, I'm embarrassed to say she's a housewife. I get why Dad left her for Anna. My son never respected me, since his grandma kept reminding him I'm useless, and that everyone's living off Mike. I thought he'd understand my sacrifices when he grew older. Didn't expect him to be so selfish. For his good life and to keep his pride, he abandoned any bond we had. He looked at me like I was trash, full of disdain. I stopped feeling any motherly affection. I looked down at my precious daughter gripping my hand tightly, one of my few comforts. Thankfully, Helen's on my side. From now on, Helen's my only child. As for Leo, he can leave my life. Soon, Mike and Anna rushed in. Anna looked great for her 40s, seemed like she was in her 30s. She smiled smugly. "Lily, glad you figured it out. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Mike and your son, Leo." She acted as if she already owned the place. Mike tossed a divorce agreement at me, saying as long as I don't make a fuss at work, he'd give me and Helen $3,000 a month. He said if I caused trouble, I'd get nothing. He urged, sign it. Anna and I are busy, hardly get days off. After the divorce, we got a date lined up. I laughed looking at the unfair agreement. He clearly thought of him and Anna's future but not mine or Helen's. I wasted my youth, gave up my career, and all I get is $3,000 a month for Helen. I pulled out a divorce agreement from my lawyer. How about you check this one out? The house split, a total of $100,000 in compensation, plus $3,000 monthly for Helen. Susan gasped, Lily, you crazy? You've been eating Mike's food for years without paying us back. How dare you demand more? Anna nodded quietly. She was with Mike for his money. Now that Mike is getting a divorce and losing a lot of money, she's not going to be too happy about it. I said calmly, we both chipped in for the down payment on this house, and we've both been paying the mortgage. Why shouldn't I have a claim to it? As for compensation, my salary was over $20,000 a month before I became a housewife. I've lost way more than $1 million over the years. Helen's various classes cost at least $3,000 in total. The money I'm asking for is perfectly reasonable. I glanced at Mike and Anna. If I'm not mistaken, Mike, you're up for the company's general manager position, right? And Anna, you're going for a promotion. It's a crucial time. You can't afford any personal scandals right now. Anna, with tear-filled eyes, looked pitifully at Mike. Mike, I'm so scared. Mike reassured her, don't worry, I'll handle it. Then he glared at me. Are you threatening us? I smirked. Threatening? No, just a friendly reminder. You've got an hour to think about it. Mike spoke coldly, and what if I refuse? Just then, the doorbell rang. It was the delivery guy. Perfect timing. I was waiting for this package. I opened it to reveal 2 bright red banners. The first said, University teacher Anna loves my husband. As the wife, I'm here to offer marriage to a concubine. The second said, H Group's Mike is unworthy of his position, abandoning his wife, worse than an animal. Seeing these banners, Mike and Anna's faces turned dark. In the end, for the sake of their futures, Mike had no choice but to agree to my divorce terms. When he signed the agreement, his face was as dark as soot. Anna didn't look too pleased either. She married Mike for his earning potential. Now that he's divorced, his wallet is slim. Susan, on the other hand, must be fuming at me. But for her boy's future, she's got to suck it up. After the divorce was finalized, I left the Civil Affairs Bureau with my daughter, parting ways with Mike's family. Before I left, Susan said to me, Lily, don't celebrate too soon. With my son's skills, he'll earn back that compensation in just 2 years. You'll regret divorcing him. I just raised an eyebrow and smiled. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. If they knew I'd won a $2 billion lottery, they'd be kicking themselves. Mike's lips curled into a smug grin as he told Susan, Mom, you complained about the house being too small, right? I'll sell our house, split what's left with Lily, put in some extra cash, and get you a villa. Oh, such a devoted son. My son chimed in eagerly, Aunt Anna has a great eye for design. She can decorate the house, it'll look awesome. Anna beamed at him, sure, and I'll make you a game room. You shouldn't call me Aunt Anna anymore. Call me Mom. Without hesitation, my son called her Mom. My daughter, who's much more sensitive, whispered to me, Mom, let's go. Sure. I waved down a taxi, but my daughter stopped me. Mom, maybe we should take the bus. It's convenient. This daughter of mine, always so thoughtful. She took Susan's words to heart and wanted to be frugal already. I laughed, don't worry. Mom's got money now. Susan snorted, you ain't got a house or a car anymore, and you're a stay-at-home mom with no skills. You'll end up cleaning for work. Your money's gonna run out fast, so stop pretending like you're rich. My daughter frowned. Don't worry about us. I'll grow up and take care of Mom. Susan scoffed. Girls are just a burden. I doubt you'll take good care of her. Anna chimed in. Lily, if you can't find a job, come to me. Our school is always hiring cleaners. Since you're Leo's mom, I'd help you out with that. I rolled my eyes and gave Anna the finger before getting in the cab with my daughter, Helen. I didn't bother looking back at their sour faces. I headed to my parents' house. They made a huge dinner to celebrate me finally getting out of my unhappy marriage. Back when I was going to marry Mike, they opposed it, saying he was immature and a mama's boy, and that I'd have a rough time. Young me, blinded by love, didn't listen and married Mike anyway. It was a lesson learned. When they saw Leo wasn't with me, they asked, "Where's Leo? Why didn't he come back with you?" I kept my face neutral. Let's not talk about him. From now on, I don't have a son. My parents, being smart, figured out what happened and were angry. That ungrateful boy. You treated him so well, and he's got no conscience? My mom added, yeah. Tomorrow we'll claim that lottery prize and enjoy life with Helen. Helen asked, what lottery? I told her about winning the lottery. She was overjoyed. That's awesome. Our place only has 2 bedrooms, with my parents in one and Helen and me in the other. It's a bit cramped. I decided the first thing I'd do with the winnings was get a bigger house. The next morning, we got up early and hit the lottery center. I won $2 billion, donated $200 million to charity, and after taxes, had over $1.4 billion left. At the bank, we got VIP treatment. The manager came to personally assist us, all smiles and polite, keeping us supplied with refreshments. According to the bank's policy, we put some money in savings, some in a regular account, and we'd be able to pull in $10 million a year just from interest. This means as long as we don't blow through the money, we won't need to work, and we'll live very well off the interest alone. To keep Mike from eyeing this money, my mom handled all the paperwork for claiming the prize and depositing it. Afterward, the bank manager escorted us out personally. Just then, Mike called me. I picked up, hearing him in a panic. Lily, get to the hospital right away. Leo's been admitted. My heart skipped. What happened? Why is he in the hospital? Then I remembered. I don't have that ungrateful son anymore. Why should his hospital stay concern me? I quickly calmed down. On the other end, Mike explained why Leo was hospitalized. He had a food allergy. Leo was a sickly kid, allergic to many foods. Thanks to my careful care over the years, he's grown tall and strong without much trouble from allergies. Now that he's without me, he's been eating recklessly, and his health immediately took a hit. Serves him right. I said coolly, what do you need from me? We're divorced. The one he calls Mom now isn't me, it's Anna. If he has a problem, go to Anna. Mike, in a patronizing tone, said, Anna's busy with work, and I know it's tough for you to find a job at your age. How about I pay you $80 a day to look after Leo? Sounds fair. The bank manager twitched his lips at hearing my ex's words. What an idiot. I'm a billionaire woman, why would I care about his measly $80 a day? I sneered at Mike, you made my day. Now get lost and spare me your bad vibe. Before Mike could respond, I hung up and blocked his number. With the lightweight but substantial card in my hand, I was ready to live it up with my family, shopping spree style. But, wouldn't you know, just a couple of days later we ran into each other at the real estate center. When the property agent heard we were looking to buy a villa, they eagerly introduced us. This villa is in the east of the city, a prime location, close to malls and parks, peaceful amid the hustle, and near your daughter's school. Plus, this villa is fully furnished, you can move in with just your bags. My parents were intrigued. How much? $20 million. $20 million isn't much when you've hit the jackpot as I have. Bear in mind, the interest I earn from my bank deposits alone is $10 million a year. I didn't hesitate, this one, I'll pay in full. Tom, not often seeing such a straightforward client, was delighted. His tone could not have been more polite. Please relax in the VIP room, I'll get the contract ready. Before I could respond, a mocking laugh came from behind. Fate's funny sometimes. Mike's family was there to buy a house too. Susan spoke up first. Lily, stop pretending. Mike gave you $2 million, that's barely enough to buy a few villa bathrooms. Anna nodded. Lily, I know you're mad at Mike and want to show off because we're also buying a house, but a lie is a lie. Aren't you just fooling the salesperson? Tom, who had been warmly smiling, turned a bit colder hearing this. Leo frowned. Mom, you let me down. I thought you were just useless, not that you'd stoop to lying. My dad couldn't hold back. Watch your mouth. It's your dad who cheated with Anna and made your mom leave with nothing. Why don't you call them out on their immorality? They're about to be promoted, one a manager, the other a university teacher. Tell me how they match up to their job stature. His words drew attention. People started eyeing Mike and Anna. Their smiles faltered. My dad, getting angrier, smacked Leo. Ungrateful brat, how dare you speak to your mom like that? Your mom spent 15 years raising you. If she won't teach you a lesson, I will. The smack knocked out one of Leo's teeth, and he spat a mouthful of blood. Shocked, he couldn't believe his grandpa, his biggest supporter, had struck him. Grandpa, how can you hit me? My dad's not wrong, my mom's just a stay-at-home wife spending his money. Dad's been more than generous not leaving my mom all these years. He tried to go on, but my dad shut him down with another slap. Do you know how accomplished your mom was before you were born? She climbed the career ladder way faster than your dad. Heartless dog. Usually, I'd feel bad seeing Leo get hit, but now? I found satisfaction in the symmetry of the slaps, which appeased my OCD. Susan, seeing it, was furious. You're grown men taking it out on a child. If his mom's inadequate, don't blame the kid for being practical. Onlookers started murmuring, deserve a beating for that ingrate. The mom's not even offended, why should he be? Serves him right to suffer now that he has a stepmother. Having never faced such public disgrace, Leo covered his face and rushed off. Susan chased after him. Mike and Anna lingered behind. Anna, sensing the disdainful looks aimed her way, forced a grin. Marriage is complicated. Issues in Lily and my husband's marriage were there long before me. Mike grabbed Anna's hand. Yes, I wanted to divorce Lily for a while. Anna's not at fault. My mom snapped. No fault, huh? Then how come Anna moved in and got a marriage certificate right after my daughter left? The biggest problem in their marriage was your affair, Mike. You call it something else, but honestly, it's just cheating. Aren't you ashamed? The crowd sided with her outrage. If they had any shame, they wouldn't be together. Did you hear them mocking the woman for not being able to afford the villa? Mike's face turned grim. Anna, feeling humiliated, tried to leave, but he held her back, whispering, Anna, trust me, I won't let you be wronged. Anna's expression softened slightly. Really? When have I lied to you? Mike began turning the blame on me. You know why we divorced? Because she was a liar throughout our marriage. She wasn't just lying to the family, she was fooling herself too. I was afraid she'd be a bad influence on the kids, that's why I divorced her. Think about it, she was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years, and her family's just ordinary. How could she afford a villa? The bystanders started looking at me differently, now with skepticism. I found it amusing. This is the man I liked for nearly 20 years. To clear his name, he not only discredited all my contributions to the family but also attempted to tarnish my reputation. Too bad his plan would backfire. What if I did have money to buy a house? Mike laughed coldly. If you can buy a house, I'll eat dirt while doing a handstand. I smiled and said, you're getting a free meal and drink then. Mike glared at me. Stop talking nonsense. If you really have money, go ahead and buy the house. Anna chimed in, that's right. Mike's reached a general manager position and still took a loan for a semi-detached villa. How could a housewife like you afford a full payment for a villa? You're just trying to save face in front of us, right? I said calmly, no need to complicate things, just verify the funds. After about 2 hours, the real estate company verified my funds. Everyone was enjoying the drama, so much so that no one left the sales hall. In fact, more people gathered to watch. They asked, what's the result? Mike sneered, do I even need to say it? She definitely doesn't have money in her account. I've said it before, she's just a liar. I looked at him with a hint of a smile, waiting for reality to hit him hard. My silence seemed like a guilty conscience to him. Why aren't you saying anything? You were so cocky just a minute ago. Sam looked at Mike as if he were an idiot. Clearing his throat, Sam said, mind if I say something? Mike, very confident, go ahead, don't hold back. Anna agreed, let everyone see her true colors so no one else falls for her lies. Sam explained, well, Miss Lily has 30 million in liquid assets in the account she provided. She's more than capable of buying a villa. Mike's eyes widened in shock. What did you say? Sam repeated himself. I smiled, ready to eat dirt now. Mike gave me a doubting look. How could you possibly have that much money? It can't be true. Sam must have been paid off by you to tell such lies. At most, you've got 2 million in your account. What he didn't know is the account I gave Sam for verification had the least amount of money among my accounts. Miss Lily's account has that much money, whether you believe it or not, Sam continued politely. Miss Lily, why don't you head to the VIP room and avoid these annoying folks? Sure. I said and went to the VIP room with my parents. As I left, I could hear the sounds of people scolding Mike, you jerk. Who would have thought the wife you despise turns out to be a millionaire? Feeling regret yet? If you hadn't divorced her, you wouldn't have to repay loans for the next couple of decades on a semi-detached house, but could live in a mansion with your ex-wife instead. Mike was red-faced with embarrassment. You don't understand, Lily's just a liar. Defeated, Mike and Anna left the scene hastily without buying a house. A month later, my whole family moved into our new home. Helen got a spacious, beautiful room designed just the way she likes. She loves reading, and next to her room, there's a big study filled with her favorite books. Helen was thrilled. Mom, I love you so much. Seeing my considerate daughter so happy, I gently patted her head. Mom loves you too. I continued, by the way, don't you want to study art design for college? The UK has some of the best programs. You're a good student, so getting an offer shouldn't be hard. I've gotten you a tutor to help you prep for the exams. That's great, Mom. Helen gave me a sweet, soft kiss. I thought to myself, daughters are just the best. I give her a bit of kindness, and she gives back pure love and enthusiasm. Moving into the new home, not only was my daughter happy, but I was too. I've truly started a new life. I no longer have to share a bed with Mike and deal with his snoring. I don't have to wake up at 5 to make breakfast for Leo, or endure Susan's criticism. Since my divorce, my parents said I've looked much healthier. One day, as my parents and I returned home, we saw Mike's family moving into the villa behind ours. Susan saw us and said smugly, "Isn't this Lily? Check out our new home. Isn't it pretty? Jealous?" "Just a so-so," I replied. "Compared to where we live, it's several times smaller." Susan scoffed, "Yeah, right. Anyone listening would think you live in a big villa. In reality, you're in a run-down place." Anna laughed, "Lily, I know you must feel awful. You were with Mike your whole life and never lived in a villa. I've only been with him a few months, and I'm living in such a big house, that's just fate. Can't blame anyone else." My mom retorted, "Who'd want this junk house anyway?" Susan put her hands on her hips, "If you don't care, why did you come see our new home?" My mom, a bit speechless, said, "Can't we just be passing by? You live in the west of the city, this is the east, what route were you taking?" My dad chuckled. Honestly, we live right in front of you, with a better view, and our house is several times bigger. We don't even care for your little semi-detached villa. Mike was skeptical. Say something enough times, you start believing it yourself. You folks afford that? You might fool the sales agents but not us. Leo added, Grandpa and Grandma, stop pretending, you'll just embarrass yourselves. My dad got serious. Don't believe us? Come over and check to see if we're really the owners. Sure, it's not us who'll be embarrassed. Susan and her group went along with us to the entrance of our new home, eager to see the show. Don't just stand there at the door, she sneered. Why don't you open it? You can't use the lame excuse of forgetting the keys and say you can't get in. As soon as she finished speaking, my dad unlocked the door with the fingerprint scanner. He mocked, what era are we in? Who uses keys anymore? It's all fingerprints now. Susan was shocked. Did you really buy a house? A villa? My mom proudly said, that's right. Where'd you get the money? Susan asked. Don't worry about that, Mom replied. All you need to know is that Lily's doing better without you. As we were about to go inside, Mike doubted, this villa isn't yours, right? You're just working here, aren't you? Susan slapped her thigh. You're so smart. I told you, where would they get the money for a villa? It all makes sense now. Her eyes darted sneakily. Just wait. I'll tell the real owner that you're showing off with their villa and get you fired. Malicious. Her son was the one who ruined the marriage, but Susan kept picking on my family. My parents said with a chuckle, we'll be waiting. Soon, Helen's teacher arrived. Susan saw how well-dressed and classy she was, assuming she was the owner. She grabbed the teacher and started complaining, Hi, are you the villa owner? Let me tell you, the family you hired is showing off with your villa, claiming they're the owners. You can't have servants like that. The teacher was puzzled. They are the villa owners. I just teach Helen. What? Susan was so surprised she couldn't close her mouth. Son, I thought Lily's family wasn't wealthy. Mike replied irritably, that's what I remember too. Never thought Lily would be so sneaky, even hiding it from me. Susan regretted, did you let go of a golden opportunity? Anna got visibly upset. Mike said, Mom, don't say that. Anna's right here. Anna, don't worry about what my mom said. My feelings for you have nothing to do with money. Anna looked a bit better. Okay. They left looking downcast, without their previous arrogance or the joy of moving to a new place. Back home, my parents regretted showing off earlier. Daughter, did we get too carried away? People say not to flaunt wealth, but seeing how Susan's family acts, we wanted them to know you're doing well. I shrugged it off. It's all right. We live in the same community. Sooner or later, they'll know we live here. Exactly, Helen chimed in. Grandma and Grandpa, the way you mocked them felt so good. It was satisfying. With my daughter's support, my parents felt a lot better. Later that night, my ungrateful son phoned, awkwardly asking, Mom, how have you been? Who says kids aren't realistic? Sometimes they're more so than adults. When I was about to divorce his dad, he chose to stay with him and cut ties with me, his stay-at-home mom. Now that he knew I had money, he called immediately. I smirked, I'm doing great without you guys. If you hadn't called, I'd be even better. Mom, I know you're upset, he said. But I'm your favorite son. Well, he used to be. But my love for him disappeared with his ungrateful acts. I looked over at Helen, who was reading. She's the only one I truly care about now. Leo continued, Mom, I've wanted to call you, but I feared Dad and Aunt Anna would be upset. So I didn't. How thoughtful, I thought sarcastically. He continued without sensing my sarcasm, I heard my sister is planning to study in the UK. You know my grades aren't great, but I want to study abroad too. In the UK, a year only costs about 100 grand. It's not much for someone who can buy a villa, right? I couldn't help but smile. Where does Leo get the confidence? He thinks I'd treat him like before despite his behavior? Sensing my silence, he got anxious. Mom, you love me. You'll definitely send me abroad, right? I reminded him, Leo, remember? You chose your dad. You have nothing to do with me now. My parents backed me up, right? Don't come leech off Lily. Hearing your voice is bad enough. Leo, frustrated, blurted out why he really called. You guys just have money, who cares? Listen, the only reason I called is to figure out where you got the money to buy the house. He added, my grandma and dad said you must have hidden some money during the divorce. If we find out you bought the house with marital assets, half of it belongs to my dad. Then I could go study abroad with no worries, he said. I replied, you stated your purpose, but you won't get anything from me. No worries, he said, my dad's smart, he'll figure out where the money came from. I calmly hung up. Even if they find out, it won't matter. The lottery ticket was bought, won, and claimed under my mom's name. The house was purchased through her bank account. My mom's money has nothing to do with me, let alone Mike. After a while, Mike realized I wasn't personally wealthy. Everything, including the house and car, was gifted by my parents, unrelated to me. So trying to take my money was a futile dream. Yet I didn't expect Mike's family to be this shameless. One day, while I was still enjoying my beauty sleep, I was woken by a commotion downstairs. I went down to find them arguing with my parents. What's going on? I asked. My parents said irritably, don't even mention it. They barged in while we went out to dump the trash and demanded we pay them. I raised an eyebrow. Mike, what do I owe you? Susan was furious. How dare you? Your parents have money, yet you dared to demand so much compensation from Mike. I said calmly, my parents being wealthy has nothing to do with the compensation you owe me. Over the years, the sacrifices I made for that family were real. I even paid part of the down payment with Mike, and we paid off the mortgage together. If you're not satisfied, you can go to court and have it reevaluated. My mom nodded, exactly. I heard you've been hiring a nanny recently, paying them $8,000 a month. The effort my daughter put into this family, if you were to pay her, would be worth way more than that. Listening to this, Susan rolled her eyes. Well, isn't it because Anna can't do housework? I thought she made money, had a decent job, way better than Lily. But turns out, she's just a fairy who doesn't deal with real-life stuff, burning through the money Mike worked his butt off for. Anna's face fell. Mom, what are you talking about? Susan nearly pointed at Anna's nose. What did I say wrong? Since you married into our family, have you brought home a single cent? You even made Leo allergic, landing him in the hospital. Didn't you do that on purpose? I crossed my arms, watching this drama unfold. I never expected that after they aimed their hostility at me, they'd start fighting among themselves. I have a feeling this family of 4 will fall apart soon. Even if they don't, their lives will definitely be a mess. Tears welled up in Anna's eyes from Susan's scolding. Mike, aren't you going to say anything? Mike held her shoulder. My mom's getting on in years, don't take it to heart. Susan's voice boomed, giving Mike a smack on the head. You've got a wife, and now you're forgetting your mother, huh? Did you forget how hard I worked to raise you? Mike was visibly angry, his chest heaving as he said, all right, Mom, stop it. We didn't come here to let Lily's family see us fight. Right, I almost forgot why we're here. Susan finally calmed down. Then I learned the real reason they came to me. It was all about money. They said, since Lily, you don't need the money, give back that $2 million compensation to our family. Oh, also, give us an extra $10 million in cash. It's for Leo. We heard you want to send Helen abroad to study, Leo should go too. Don't worry, we're not that petty. If you want to see Leo, we won't stop you. Their plan was loud and clear. But they forgot one thing, I've long lost any affection for my ungrateful son, and I won't be spending another dime on him. Plus, Who knows how much of that 10 million would actually be spent on Leo, given their cunning nature. I smiled and said, whatever dream you're having, I'm not giving you a single penny. Susan couldn't believe it. Lily, how could you be so heartless? Leo's your only son. If you're not good to him, who will you be good to? I patted Helen's shiny black hair. Don't forget, I also have a wonderful daughter. Leo shrugged dismissively. My grandma says daughters are just a financial burden, they'll leave you when they marry. But I'm different, I'll make sure to take care of you when you're old. I laughed sarcastically. You? When your dad cheated, you didn't stand up for me. You told me not to choose you, fearing I'd burden you. You even mocked me for being useless, praising your stepmom in front of me. Can I really count on you? Leo avoided my gaze. Who told you not to have money then? If you could give me a good life, I would have picked you, no doubt. I replied coldly, Leo, you still don't get where you went wrong. I can accept that you chose to live with your dad for a better life. But I can't accept your betrayal. These years, I stayed away from the workforce to take care of you, dealing with daily chores, becoming a plain housewife. You might not know, I used to work at the same company as your dad, climbing the ladder faster than him. If not for you, I could have been better than your dad. Of course, I didn't do this expecting anything in return. But at the very least, you should keep gratitude in your heart. But you didn't. You belittled my efforts, eagerly betrayed me, warmly calling Mike your father and Anna your mother. They hurt me, and you joined them in hurting me and your sister who treated you well. Do you think you still deserve to be my son? Do you deserve my kindness? After I said this, a bit of shame finally appeared on Leo's face. Susan sighed, why say so much? I get it, you just don't want to give the money. Leo looked like he finally understood. I almost got fooled by my mom. I'm her kid, isn't it her job to treat me well? I shook my head. Leo was beyond saving. Talking to him is a waste of breath. Mike, the only one with some sense, tried appealing to me. Lily, Leo is still your child. You've devoted so much to him. You can't just ignore him. He's young and naive now, but as he grows older, he'll understand your hard work and love. My mom spat directly in his face. Pfft, Leo's been allocated to you, we won't be looking after him anymore. We're going to take care of our darling granddaughter. Besides, he's 16, no longer a child. You all better pack up and get out of here. Susan's family refused to leave, still shouting, Leo's your son. If you abandon him, you'll be sorry when you're old and there's no one to look after you. She's thinking too much. I have a good daughter and plenty of money, I'll be better off without them. Susan should be more worried about herself. I can see that Mike's obviously on Anna's side, and she'll have her struggles. In the end, I had to call the police to get them out of my house. After that, Mike and his family kept harassing us. They barged into my home time and again, starting with emotional pleas. When those failed, they resorted to screaming insults. We were all itching for a break, and with summer vacation here, I just took the whole family on a trip abroad. One day, as I was lounging on a beach chair with a hot young guy rubbing oil on my back, I got a call from Mike. He was furious. Lily, how could you be so heartless? We had a deal that you wouldn't expose what happened between me and Anna. Now look, thanks to you, both our jobs are ruined. You broke the contract, and you owe me back that 2 million in damages. I was clueless. What are you talking about? I'm on vacation overseas. With all this beautiful scenery, great food, and handsome guys, I couldn't care less about your drama. Mike didn't say a word, just sent me a video. I opened it to see someone had secretly filmed the showdown between Mike, Anna, and me at the sales center. In the video, they had mocked me for not being able to afford the place, only to be proven wrong. The video thoughtfully blurred out my family's faces, while showing Mike's family clearly. The sneaky videographer added a sensational title, Man Dumps His Wife, only to discover she's a millionaire, regrets ensue. Comments ranged from jokes about wealthy women to criticisms saying Mike got what he deserved. Some even exposed Mike and Anna's identities, and ultimately, they both lost their jobs. I was exasperated. What does this have to do with me? I didn't tell anyone to film it or upload it online. Mike fell silent when I flatly said, "You can't blame me. You guys came looking for trouble. Otherwise, no one would have filmed it." As I was about to hang up, Mike's tone suddenly turned smooth and greasy. "Lily, I still have feelings for you. I was just confused when I got with Anna. But being with her made me realize that you're the one I truly love. How about I divorce her tomorrow and we get back together?" He continued, "I promise I'll love only you, and won't do anything to upset you again." Hearing his so-called romantic confession, I felt nauseous. Seriously, how could a 40-year-old guy be so delusional to think I'd choose him again? What's wrong with younger guys? Are they not sweet enough, not capable? I'd be stupid to pick him, a crooked tree, over a whole forest of options. The handsome guy noticed my frown and asked if he was pushing too hard. Look at him being so considerate. I smiled and said, "No, it's just right. I'm feeling great." Mike must have heard me talking to the young guy and was livid, accusing me like I'd betrayed him. As if anyone expected him to be the one who betrayed us first. We've been divorced for ages, whatever I do is none of his business. It's actually funny. I chuckled, "I'm just enjoying myself. Don't bother me." I hung up. Why would I be interested in a middle-aged, out-of-shape guy who doesn't like to shower, snores in his sleep, and is balding? Then I blocked his number. I turned back to the guy massaging me and noticed just how seeing handsome people can really lift your mood. We ended up spending 2 months abroad. But we weren't totally out of the loop on the news back home. My mom, staying active in our neighborhood, befriended many women her age. They have this group chat that's all about sharing local gossip. So, Mike's family became notorious online, and the neighborhood ladies had plenty to say. Apparently, after Mike and Anna lost their jobs, Susan started blaming Anna for bringing bad luck. Since Anna joined their family, nothing but chaos has occurred. First, she drove me, a millionaire wife, away. Then, Leo ended up in the ER, and finally, Mike lost his job. Also, Anna does nothing around the house. Susan has even begun to miss me. Anna's not one to swallow insults quietly, so she and Susan frequently bickered. Mike tried to mediate at first, but soon resorted to drinking alone. As for my son, his grades, already a so-so, tanked amid the household chaos. After a while, I didn't hear about them anymore. Mike couldn't afford the mortgage after losing his job, so they had to move. When my parents heard about the mess, they justified it as karma. They warned me to be careful because Mike's family might think to target us, given our money. I gotta hand it to my folks, they saw it coming. Mike's family indeed started plotting, but I wasn't expecting their scheme to be so lame. So lame, it was almost funny. I couldn't tell if they were insulting my intelligence or their own. I was sightseeing when my mom got a frantic call from Susan, bad news. Leo's been kidnapped, and they want $3 million in ransom within 3 days, or else. Her voice carried panic. Where are we supposed to get $3 million? In a life/death situation, Mom was understandably anxious but urged, "Don't worry. We'll figure something out." Susan stressed, "Don't call the cops, they said if we do, they'll hurt him." My mom assured her and immediately told me everything about Leo's kidnapping. My mom said, "Sweetie, I know you don't like that ungrateful brat. But still, it's a human life, and we've cared for him for over 10 years. We can't just ignore it." My dad chimed in, "That's right, sweetheart. Let's help him this once and never again." I rubbed my phone, thought for a bit, then looked up and said, "Don't you think Leo getting kidnapped is kinda fishy?" "What do you mean?" Mike and Anna lost their jobs and couldn't keep up with their mortgage. They're broke and living in a rental now. What kind of kidnapper targets Leo in that situation? I came to a conclusion: this kidnapper seems to be targeting us. Mom caught on right away. "You mean this kidnapping was staged by them?" "Very possible. They're the only ones who keep wanting our money. Dad hesitated, but what if Leo really got kidnapped and it's not a setup by Mike and his family? We can't joke around with a life. I calmly said, we pay the ransom, and once Leo's back, we report it to the police. Let them investigate Mike's family. Alright, let's do it your way. We wired the money to the account the kidnappers provided. About 3 hours later, Mike called me, saying Leo was back. He made sure to stress, Lily, don't call the cops. The kidnappers said they'd kill us all if we did. When he said that, we had just landed. Hearing Mike made me even more suspicious it was all they're doing. The whole time, all Mike and his family talked about was not calling the police. Their tone was like they were terrified of the kidnappers getting caught. As soon as we landed, I headed straight to the police to report it and shared my suspicions. The police worked quickly, and in less than 3 days, they found out that Leo's kidnapping was indeed a setup by them to scam me for money. Mike's family spent money so fast. When they suddenly came into a lot of cash, they spent $5 million to buy that big house outright. Anna and Susan splurged on gold and jewelry worth millions. During this time, Mike was down on his luck, developed a gambling problem, and lost $300,000. As for Leo, he got mixed up with some bad friends and blew a few thousand. The police managed to recover only part of the money. In the end, Leo was sentenced to 3 years for being young, while the others got 10 years for fraud. Before the sentence, I went to see Mike and his family. They begged me, saying they lost their minds and hoped I'd let it go. I refused. These people have no moral boundaries. They'd fake kidnapping Leo for money, and next time, they might really kidnap Helen to extort me. For my family's safety, jail is the best place for them. When I didn't agree, just as I expected, they started swearing at me. I didn't pay them any mind, it was just impotent rage. On the day they were sentenced, Leo enviously looked at Helen beside me. She's now confident and cheerful, happiness written all over her face, and he broke down. He cried, shouting, "Mom, I messed up. I really messed up." I was unmoved. I'll always remember his ungrateful attitude before. Leo wasn't truly sorry. He just regretted not choosing me and missing out on the life he dreamed of. At his core, he's selfish. A year later, Helen was thrilled to be accepted into a top international design school. I personally saw her off at the airport. My parents said, "Helen's grown up, traveling on her own now." "Lily, have you thought about finding someone, so you're not alone?" I laughed, why bring trouble on myself? I'm doing great. I have money and a family who loves me. When I'm lonely, I can enjoy the company of charming young men and travel the world with new friends. Life's pretty darn good.